Hey y'all, it's your girl Breezy, and you know I love to run my mouth. So I want to come and talk about a few things that I've been seeing on social media. But before I get into all of those things, make sure you subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell. We are on the road to 2K, slowly creeping, but we're getting there. So thank you to all of the new subscribers. Now let's get into it. All right. So Dame Dash versus the Breakfast Club. I watched the entire episode or interview following seeing clips online. And I said, I don't want to judge it by these clips because he aggravated me in the clips that I saw. So I wanted to get a feel for how did the interview start? What were they talking to Dame about that maybe pushed him to the edge? Oh no. As soon as I pressed play, he came in hot. He's sitting down talking about glad that we can have a sit down even when you beefing. So let's get some things off the top. I don't like being interrupted. And just when people start putting parameters on the conversation that you're about to have or the interview that you're about to conduct, you already know it's about to be some BS. And we already knew with Dame Dash there was going to be some BS. But in a sum up of the interview, I'm gonna hit a couple points of things that stood out to me. But in the sum of the interview, he was a butthole. You could tell that he's still very bitter, and it is very sad to watch a music mogul like in front of your eyes self-destruct, lose the things he has, lie horribly, and like just really kind of even just from a perspective of his own attitudes and things, tarnish his own legacy. So he's in there, he's talking to them, and at one point he calls this girl, I can't remember what the girl's name was, and that just lets you know, like, he didn't even focus on her being his artist or whatever. It was, he called her the little white lesbian Aaliyah. And I was like, bruh, like, wow, huh? He's talking about, well, I know Aaliyah better than some of y'all do, so, that's why I say that. And I said, oh, he's about to annoy me for this entire interview. So it's weird that he's one of those men that his bravado is in what he thinks is manhood, right? What he verbally says it is. But then the things that he does contradicts those things that he said. And it was so weird to, like, when he was talking to Charlemagne, like he was trying to act like Charlemagne was scared of him. Sir, you're nobody to be afraid of. Like, Dame Dash, please. So they asked him questions about him owning the rights Paid in Full, and he was like, nobody can own the rights. Now eventually he got around the mulberry bush to answer the question, but he never really directly answered it because it was all deflection. And I was like, absolutely, people own rights to movies. Like, what are you talking about? You can't own it because I lived it. And when he said that, what that indicated to me is that someone else probably does own the rights to that movie. He is so overly self-important. So apparently Dame Dash and Cam are beefing. And what I loved about the whole interview is that they clowned him because he was being a clown. So they went along with it. And like, I watched also the reacts where they had all of the people call in after the show and like give their opinion on the interview, which a lot of people was like, Dame Dash is corny, which I totally agree. But Charlemagne would like say something, just a little quick quib back to him, and it would be so funny because Dame Dash said, that's why I don't hang around men. And Charlemagne said, but you came in here with a man. He said, you're interrupting me. So it's just like, Dame, please. So he filed bankruptcy. They asked him about that. And them asking him those questions, he'd go on a whole diatribe about a whole other topic that kind of sort of related to what he was talking about, but it never answered the question. So he claimed that he was the chairman of Revolt, which they came out and said, no, you're not. You ain't chairman of nothing over here. You haven't acquired anything over here, and you're a big, big liar. And you could tell also, like throughout the interview, he kept trying to think of answers to say and questions that were being asked of him. So he's telling Charlamagne, like, Wendy Williams was your OG, and this my OG over here, which he brought this man. Like, why are you bringing this man to an interview that you're coming to? If you're coming to promote your business, promote the music that you're trying to sell, then he tells Charlamagne that he thinks he's gay.
I don't think you're a proper representation of the masculine black man. You know what I'm saying? I don't think you guys are. Okay. Like, your OG is Wendy Williams. My OG is sitting right here. You see him? Mm-hmm. And I'm gonna tell you why he's my OG. Because he killed anybody or any of those things. He just taught me how to be a better man. Can you stop? Can you stop? Wasn't she your boss? Yeah. So she was your OG. She put you on. You should give her grace, and you should also give her props out of respect. But because we have different trauma, like we're different. Like I'm not the kind of guy that would like. I'd rather get my ass whipped than run. But you're proud that you ran. Yeah. I'd rather get my ass whipped. And it ain't no disrespect, but I kind of think you're gay. You just act a little gay. You got a problem with gay people? Not at all. I've got a problem with people that pretend they're not gay. So let me tell you why. Let me tell you why. You're gay. So what I'm saying is, you might, because you started in gossip, which is is very feminine, and you want people to listen to you, and that we want people that represent masculinity, because men need to be doing what they need to do as men. They don't need to be worried about girl stuff. Do you think he's masculine? Would you want this man around you with 10 guys jumped you? He'd run, and you'd have to run with him. I like my women to feel safe when they're around me. I don't tell people, like, and I'm not saying that's your way, but you're just not masculine. I've seen him run. I looked at a whole reel of, there's like a thing that says how many people bark. There's stuff that how many times you talk about other people's genitals. You real masculine men don't do that. You said that some guys was throwing you kisses because they liked your paws, but and you went back. That's gay. Why you got such a problem with gay? I don't have a problem. I have a problem with you. Wait, no. Yeah, that's why I pause. There's a lot of people like you. There's a lot of people like you that are gay that pretend they're not.
Black men can't be gay.
Black men that are gay should say they're gay.
Well, I'm not gay.
You are. No, anyway, now let me talk to you. Let me say this. You act like a girl.
You move like an old auntie. You an old Harlem.
I can punch you right in your face like a grown man. I won't, and you won't do shit. I've seen you run. I've seen you. I'm not saying I will. I'm saying no. Your version of respect is different than mine. We were on the street right now. You talking like that? I would have fucked you up. But I'm not gonna do that. Nah, I wouldn't got beat up. I wouldn't got beat up. Let's end this. So let me say one more thing before I leave. All right. Oh, you're right.
I just want to leave. You can't get in your emotions and want to leave, Dave.
No, what I'm saying is, when you interrupt me and you say certain things, so where I'm from, the masculine man will fuck you up. But because let me finish. No, I didn't. I said I could, and you wouldn't do anything.
And we will fight.
I didn't see that on tape. You ran.
Yeah, there's 4 guys, but that's cool.
I asked what happened when 30 guys jumped me. I got that ass whipping, but I fucked them niggas up.
I think it's been some head trauma ever since.
Yeah. Hey, yo, pause.
No, you're gay. You're gay. The things that you do. He mad that Charlamagne don't talk about Jay-Z like he talk about Dame Dash. But Dame, you're always in the news for something. And that's honestly what it is. And he is a great example of why sometimes you have to leave friends behind, because, sir, what? Please move along. I really want Dame Dash to get some help. But you know what? I watched a long time ago. I can't remember what show it was, but him and his 2 brothers were on there. And the way he talked to Charlamagne is the same way he talked to his brothers. And his brothers was like, I'm not dealing with you because you're disrespectful. You don't know how to talk to anybody. I'm a man. You're not a man. You live with your mother. Meanwhile, his brother's mother was going through a health situation, and he was living with his mom to take care of her. So it was like, you lame for that. You're a lame. And he is. Dame Dash is lame. So he lets us know that he hides his money in a trust because he has so many responsibilities of bills he owes. I actually just watched a video, and I'll link it in my description, from I'm Not a Lawyer, but if you all do not watch her, subscribe to her, follow her on social media, you should. Any like cases, baby, she reads through them, gets into the details, and then she comes tells you the story. So she actually shared a whole bunch of lawsuits that he has from this particular attorney, that the attorney has won every last one of them against him. And so since he owes all this money, he filed bankruptcy, even put his child support on bankruptcy. And the one thing that I got out of it, because not one thing. So also in watching the interview, when he was telling Charlamagne, you're gay, you're not a good example for black men. And Charlamagne kept saying, well, what's wrong with gay people? Nothing ain't wrong with them. Okay, so then if Charlamagne was gay, how then is he not a good example for black men? He's a businessman. He's a family man. even if you're saying he's gay, he has a wife and kids whom, you know what I mean? We don't know anything different than that. So how is he not a good example? So he was trying to basically like son Charlamagne, little boy him into like playing the game with him. And Charlamagne kept clowning him the entire time. Charlamagne called him Debt Dash, told him he should start Debt Jam.
The same way the last time I came and barked on y'all changed your whole life.
We did.
You did. I changed your whole life. You put me on the wall. Look, that changed his life. How do you know y'all don't come outside? There's no windows in here. This shit is crazy. Look at the dark. I'm gonna show you. Y'all in the behind the stage, the curtain. Y'all in the coffin. I would never. This is uninspiring. This is dirty and all that shit. You're a girl. You clean this shit up.
Look at your sneakers. Your sneakers are dirty. Your sneakers filthy. That ain't like you, Dane.
I just
They wrinkled.
I just put this on today.
I'm just fucking with you. You can't know much about money and material things, man.
Talking about?
You do.
You're contradicting
Your
yourself.
whole existence is money and material things. That's why now that you
Your
don't
whole
have
existence
it,
is
you're trying
gay.
to prove to everybody that you do.
Your whole existence is gay.
Yours is broken.
It sounds like you've been paid to do what you're doing. You should be objective on the
You
radio.
get paid to do something. Then you wouldn't be in debt. Debt Dash. That's his new name. You should start a new label called Debt Jam. That's what you should do.
Not a fake laugh. Nobody's checking for that. Only guys. Look, nobody's laughing. Now you got the shit face. You're trying to make yourself laugh. Look, now you look stupid. Look at him. You gonna cry. Look at him. I think you gonna cry. The fake laugh. Now you gonna stop. You gonna keep laughing at nothing. Yo, why you squinting? You look stupid. You squinting Tarantino right now. Anyway, Now I'm just laughing because you got the shit face. Yeah, you say something. Nothing hurt.
And actually Charlamagne was getting a kick out of pissing Dame off. So Dame Dash is also an example of why young Black men end up having warped thought processes, because his assessment of what manhood looks like traps a lot of men into thinking that lying, stealing, cheating, not taking accountability, doing it the wrong way, going through the back door, all of those things, it doesn't allow them to prosper and look at manhood in its fullness, and they miss out on a lot of things in life. If anything, if we look at DJ Envy and Charlamagne against Dame Dash, even with Dame Dash's long history in the music business, both of them are way better examples of men than Damon Dash. Okay. He brought his OG up at the end of the interview, who had nothing really to give us. I mean, he was saying things here and there, but it was a lot of talking around the circle. You know how you get these old men who were gangsters or criminals in their young life. They've done a lot of shooting, a lot of robbing, a lot of stealing, potentially taking people out of this earth. And now they're so deep. But the main things that they say is, we all got to get together. We all got to do better. And they keep saying that thing over and over again. And it's like talking in a circle of, you need to do better, but you're not actually talking about how that looks. And that's basically what OG was doing at the end. So, yeah, if y'all ain't watched it, don't aggravate your spirit with that, because it's a hot mess. And next, congratulations, Cardi B. Y'all, Cardi is pregnant. And Cardi is going to have a baby with Stefon Diggs. Now, a lot of us already knew you was pregnant, sis. Let me tell you something. Anytime that a woman with a figure like Cardi B's starts covering up and the midsection looks a little questionable to you, even with all of those clothes on, sis is pregnant. Okay, so we knew it. I don't have any feelings. Hey, it's her uterus. It's her life. You live it. I don't gotta take care of the baby, so congrats to you, Cardi. Now, it's a little quick because your baby just turned 1. Blossom, we just had a birthday party. We just had Blossom's birthday party, and now you're telling us that you're pregnant with Stefon Diggs' baby. And she said on the interview with Gail that he told her he wanted to heal her. Now, the only thing that gives me pause about that is, men saying that they want to heal you is it's a big red flag. And so I am going to wish Cardi B the best. I hope all good things for her. I hope Stefon Diggs is the man that he is presenting Ooh, I hope that Stefan Diggs is the man that he is presenting himself to be. And I can't wait to see the baby because she love a chocolate man. He chocolate. So we'll see if those Cardi B genes are as strong as with the other children. While we're talking about Cardi B's Am I the Drama drops tomorrow. And I can say I am truly excited. I am here for new music from Cardi. I enjoyed what was it, Intentional Players? What's the name of the song? Let me look and see. Imaginary Players. And I love this rollout she's doing. And so we hope that Cardi's sophomore album is the success she is looking for. I'm excited to hear these other tracks. They did put out the track list for her album, and it looks like we have 23 songs. Now, WAP did make it onto the album. Up made it onto the album. And so I guess that's why she was saying how she had to push it back some because, she was in her feelings about her divorce. Outside made it to the album. So a couple of singles that she had already put out are there. But we have definitely a good group where that will leave us about 20 more songs that we have not heard. So we will be talking about Cardi's album once it releases and I get to listen to it. Are y'all excited for the new Cardi B project? Is she the drama? We'll find out. All right. So we got to see Wendy Williams out and about. Wendy still has a lot of legal drama going on, but she was out and about in those New York streets during Fashion Week and she was giving it to the people, smiling. She looked there. She looked very cute in her fur. Now, y'all know Wendy loves a fur baby, so she was going to wear that. She looked really cute. She was smiling. She had lovely makeup on. She didn't look, totally out of it. And she was still being assisted, but she looked good. All right. Are y'all ready to put y'all suits on? Brandy and Monica said, come dressed in your cutest suits down to the Boy Is Mine concert. Now, I definitely plan on being in attendance. I am a more sweaty girl, so I don't know what we're going to give here, but in my mind, just thinking off top, probably a little cute, little shirt that'll give you business with a skirt, but I'm not sure. We'll see. But let me know if y'all going to be suited and booted for the Boy Is Mine tour. I think that the girls are going to look lovely. I think that some folks going to put some fits on. And I guess since it's Brandy and Monica, we don't really have to we're not going to be up doing a whole lot of dancing. So it might actually work out. Tell me what y'all wearing. So a very interesting story. Erica Campbell was sitting down for an interview with someone and she was sharing that she got the idea for Still My Child, which is from, let me see what album that's on. On the first Mary Mary album, she says that she got it from a conversation she had with Heavy D. Y'all listen to this story.
But I get that. Like when I started writing Still My Child, I was on the freeway and I had to pull over and write the song. Because the first lyric I got was, could you tell him that I really need him? I really want to change. The next time you talk to God, could you please mention my name? I got that from having a conversation with Heavy D, who he would call me Sister Ebo Shaw. He was like, man, you the safest chick I know, right? And so he was like, he said, can I ask you a question? I said, sure. He said, I want to talk to God, but I just don't know what to say. And he was like, I got a Bible next to my bed and everything. Wow. His friend had committed suicide and he was just dealing with a lot. And he wanted to get to faith, but it was this barrier. So I told him I would pray for him. And I wrote that song because of his request. And I realized there's some people who want to get to God and don't know how. You have the ability, a songwriter has the ability to give them something that literally gives them the language to speak to Jesus. That's even if it isn't Psalms 1. You know what I mean? Could you tell him I really need him? You know what I mean? I really want to change. The next time you talk to God, could you please mention my name? I love the second part of that song. I sent a message in the wind. I sent a message in the wind when the birds sang a song. And when you went to sleep last night, I told the moon shine all night long. Just wanted you to talk to me. And I know it's been a while, but to answer your question, you are still my child.
That was a beautiful story. Rest in peace to Heavy D. I enjoyed his music and just his spirit when you would see him on TV and different TV shows that he was a part of. So to know that he had an interaction with Erica Campbell and that he provided some of the inspiration for Still My Child is very cool. And I love that song as well as that first Mirror Mirror album. It rides. Rest in peace to Trey Reed. This is a young gentleman who was found hanging from a tree at Delta State University. And his family has shared that the police told him that he passed away in his dorm. And I just think it's horrible because with the history of Black people and hangings, it's an unfortunate scenario that here in 2025 is something that's still occurring. I wanted to look up because there's all this controversy about, that it was a self-inflicted taking of his life. And we know that typically Black people do not choose to take their lives in that method. And so I did go over to Chat GPT and I asked, and the same came back that no, it is not a common way or a method in which Black people in the US overall take their lives, that typically it's firearms as opposed to what would be suffocation or hanging. And that in the state of Mississippi, because then I asked, one, Chat GPT is very interesting because it gave me all the details that I wanted on numbers and specifics. And I'm not getting into all of that because I don't want to be on this topic long. But at the end of that, it did say, is this relating to your safety? Something you're thinking about? It provided resources for that. And I let it know I'm not thinking about that. That this is related to the gentleman that was found in Mississippi and what's the history of those type of acts in Mississippi. And of course, there were lynchings during Jim Crow, and Mississippi had the worst record in the U.S. for it. So from about 1877 to 1950, there were approximately 581 recorded lynchings of Black people, and that's the most of any state. So I'm not going to go into all of the details because there is some patterns and things that were researched, and there are some names of some folks that are provided. And then we're talking about that those things happening in this current time that I'm living in. Like this was something that my mom came from an era where that was something that was happening during her time, like right at the time that she was born when her parents were living. And to think that I am now in my 40s and this is something that we're talking about, and he's not the first person to have been found this way in the state of Mississippi in the 2000s. I will put a few screenshots of just things that came up in terms of the Chat GPT results. But I'm going to get off that topic. Rest in peace to that young man, and definitely prayers for his family. Well, y'all, freedom of speech is looking real shaky at best. Okay. If you have not heard, Jimmy Kimmel is the next or the newest person in the whole "you said something we didn't like" campaign, and so you lost your job because of it. So comments related to that gentleman, I'm not saying his name, that recently his life was taken and he had some controversial views, and there is all the controversy going on about people not agreeing with his controversial views and how him no longer being alive has not impacted certain demographics of people the way that other demographics or one other demographic of people would like it to be viewed. And, that is what it is. And unfortunately, Jimmy Kimmel's show has been suspended indefinitely. The man that a lot of folks voted into the office for president was very elated to see it happen. And it's feeling real in here, I don't even want to say it, but it's feeling real restrictive. Let's say it that way. It's feeling really restrictive here in these United States on what you can and can't say. All right. And then lastly, I'm going to leave you all with a quick clip from Lori Harvey, who shared her experiences with being ignored and dismissed by doctors when it came to her feminine health. And it turned out that she had endometriosis and PCOS and had it for years and had been struggling with it for years. And not until she just really truly advocated for herself did they find a diagnosis of what was going on with her and she be able to start getting the medical care she needed. So y'all check that out.
She said gyno. I was like, oh my gosh, I've been so frustrated. I've been going to my gynecologist because I just been feeling like something's off in my body. But every time I go to her, she's like, you're fine, nothing's wrong. And I was like, but I don't feel fine. Like I feel like something is just off, but obviously I don't know what it is. And so she's like, oh, come see Dr. A. She's amazing. Like if there is something wrong, she'll be able to find it and tell you. And so I remember the first appointment I had, I'm thinking, it's just going to be a normal routine checkup. And she's like, oh, honey, let me tell you, there's quite a few things going on here. And so that's when she told me I had PCOS. That's when she told me I had endometriosis. I used to have the most excruciating periods of my life. Like every single time I felt like I needed to go to the hospital, just like crazy cramps. I'm taking like 800 milligram ibuprofen. Nothing is working. Like heating, like it's just like was debilitating. And I just always thought it was normal. They'd be like, oh, just take some Tylenol, you'll be fine. And I'm like, there's no way this is normal. Yeah. And she told me, she's like, yeah, babe, you're right. It was not normal. And I'm so sorry that you've just been living with this and people have been telling you that this is just how it's supposed to be because it's not. So she literally changed my life.
So y'all heard that doctors were telling her, just take some Tylenol, just lay down, just get some rest. And it is unfortunate that Black women are subjected to not having full support in the medical community. Like you really have to advocate for yourself. You really have to make sure that people give you the treatment that you deserve because they will just dismiss your pain, dismiss your symptoms. Instead of looking at it from just a specific medical view, they are also going to look at it from you being a Black person who is having the symptom. And it is unfortunate that that word has been very common in this video, but it is unfortunate that we have to fight just to be considered when it comes to medical and many other things in life. It is well known and documented that it is believed that we don't feel pain at the same level that others do. And so our medical concerns are sometimes ignored, a lot of times ignored. And so you will hear this story commonly between, Black women or women of color that we are not considered having the pains that we're saying we're having. And we feel like our insides are falling out. And they're telling you, oh, just get a little medicine and that'll help it. And then after you take the medicine, they still feel like they're falling out. So I would just say we should definitely continue to tell these stories so that we can help the next person and that hopefully you hear someone having the same type of symptoms you have. You can go into that medical office and advocate for yourself and insist because look, especially if you have medical insurance and it's coming out of your paycheck or you're paying it independently, it is not a small amount. And so therefore I'm in here seeing you as a doctor. You're going to bill me after this service. You better work me up and over to find out what's going on with my body. All right, y'all, we're going to stop there. I appreciate you all coming to listen to me run my mouth and talk my ish. I hope that you enjoyed. Please throw all your comments down below and let me know what you think about the topics we talked about today. And be sure to subscribe to the channel on the road to 2K. Make sure you like, make sure you comment, and make sure you share. Let somebody else get a little piece of me running my mouth. All right, y'all. Peace.